Hey, welcome back to Logical Republican. Thanks for stopping in. Again, if you like what you see, like what you hear, hit the like button, the subscribe button, share it with somebody you agree with or disagree with. Also, the logicalrepublican.com website, actually, it's just logicalrepublican.com website is now up. Please pay a visit there as well. Today, we're going to kind of dive into Kamala Harris. And she's been propped up by the progressive media after a couple of years of bashing her when she first got to the White House as basically a do-nothing and she's replaceable and blah, 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 blah. Well, she got her start in San Francisco. She dated the right people or the right person who helped her get a job in the right place and got her appointed to some commissions and boards which she had absolutely no business being on. But again, she dated the right guy and he got her there. And now, because she is she is going to be the Trump killer in the eyes of the liberals, the progressive and liberal mainstream press has been basically instructed to refrain from any negative press about good old Kamala. You think I'm joking, right? No, the press would never, ever do anything like that. Take a look at the CNN or the MSNBC or the ABC or the NBC or the CBS or the USA Today or the New York Times or the San Francisco Chronicle. Look at any of these websites, okay? It's just one big group hug. It's like-minded people slapping each other on the back saying, hey, good job, pro-Kamala. Everything is pro. You won't find a negative Kamala Harris story anywhere on any of these sites. You will have to absolutely positively dig. Now, J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, pretty much all negative. Oh, bad guys, cat ladies, whatever. There's all kinds of bad stuff going on there. I wonder why. Well, I think we all know. Okay, now, try Googling something negative about Kamala, and wow, it's hard to find. It's really hard to find. Again, never mind that 3 years ago, the DNC was whispering to the press's ear that Kamala was the weak link and trying to figure out how to replace her in 2024. Those articles are really hard to find now. Like, really hard to find. You have to, dig. You need, a subscription to newspapers.com where you can actually go into archives to find a lot of this thing. People call it with Alzheimer's disease, right? It's short-term memory loss. Well, in this case, it's called algorithm manipulation. So Google, right? Now Google got caught. Then of course Google would never do anything fishy, right? When you type in the word assassination attempt president, you don't get Trump afterward. There's no autofill for Trump. You get Roosevelt, you get Kennedy, you get Reagan, you get Ford, you get Lincoln, you get all of this other stuff. But you cannot get the Donald Trump. And of course, Donald Trump Jr. brought this up, and then Google came up with some answer that, of course, the liberal press never even touched on. Probably actually blaming Donald Trump Jr. for being, a conspiracy theorist or something like that. But there's no collusion. No, it's just our imagination. Well, here's the story I'm going to talk about today. It's one of many about the Kamala Harris years as district attorney. There was this guy named Edwin Ramos. Okay, remember that name, Edwin Ramos. He's an illegal immigrant from El Salvador. He's an MS-13 gang member. And he was the lead suspect in a Mission District that's in San Francisco. Mission District shooting in 2006 at 25th and Cap Street. Well, 25th and Cap, if you know anything about San Francisco geography, is deep in the hood. Okay? That is Norteño gang member central. It's just a place to go. They've got great food there, great bakeries. Not really anywhere you want to go after dark, in my humble opinion. Well, in any event, in 2006, at 25th and Cap, a fellow gang member named Rolando Valadares got shot. He was with his wife pushing a stroller, and some guys rolled up on him and shot him. Now, Edwin Ramos was the lead suspect on this, but for some unknown reason, he was never charged. Okay? Now, let's fast forward a little bit, right? He beat up a guy, or beat up a lady on the 14 Mission bus. So the 14 Mission bus is the bus that goes basically from the Ferry Building on Mission Street, front to back, top to bottom, all the way out to Daly City. It goes through the nice parts of Mission. It goes through the scary parts of the Mission, all the way out to Daly City, which is kind of a ho-hum part of Mission. Anyways, so he was arrested for robbing this pregnant woman at 19th and Mission after beating up a guy on the 14 Mission. He was arrested for having no front license plates because he had warrants out for him, and blah, 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 blah. But he was arrested. He was convicted. He's a convicted felon, and he's an illegal. But he was never turned over to the immigration authorities. Why? Well, because San Francisco is a sanctuary city, that the people who are there illegally should not feel the threat or the terror of being deported. And this goes for criminals as well. So you can be a criminal, illegal, immigrant, drug dealing gang member, go to a state facility, prison, jail, whatever, and get released back into your own community to continue doing this all over again because San Francisco protects you. So instead of getting his ass kicked out of America, he was given a free pass to do whatever the hell he wants to do. Because what can they do to him? They can't kick him out. All they can do is put him in jail, and so what? I mean, jail in the U.S. is probably better than life in El Salvador for a lot of these guys. So effing what? They can't kick him out. They won't kick him out. So, again, he was arrested for driving. He had no license plates. They had another chance to deport him. But Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris were a tag team in upholding the so-called sanctuary city legislation. And in my opinion, equally responsible for what happened next. Okay, you might have heard of this. So Ramos gets out of the CYA, or the California Youth Authority, and finds himself back in the hood with his homies. He's now a convicted felon, an MS-13 gang member, an illegal immigrant, the kind that we want our government to protect, the kind of guy that we want living in our city. Yes, the sanctuary city. He's our kind of guy. So let's fast forward to June 22nd, 2008. There was a guy named Tony Bologna. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It looks like bologna, like how we would pronounce bologna, but I think it's Bologna or Bologna. And he and his 3 sons were driving home from a family picnic. They passed Edwin Ramos and one of his MS-13 homies on a very narrow street in the Excelsior district. Now, if you've ever driven in this part of town, you know that the streets are really narrow. There's typically parking on one side of the street and room for cars on the other side. And then you kind of have to pull over and let another car pass by. Well, anyways, so Edwin and his buddy pass the family guys, and they think that they are rival gang members. So they flip a Yui, and they chase down the 4 Bolognas, and they block them in. And then they start blasting. They shot all 4 of them. They killed 3 of them. So he's arrested, and Kamala, the so-called progressive district attorney who's supported this sanctuary city legislation and also pledged in her campaign to not enforce or charge heinous criminals with the death penalty, had her chance. But nope. She wouldn't do it. Would not charge the guy who basically destroyed a family in broad daylight on a city street with complete disregard for the safety of the community at large, the neighborhood, the neighbors, the homes, anything else. No, I won't charge him. I won't charge him with the death penalty. So Tony Bologna's wife Danielle sued the city and county of San Francisco, claiming that the city was responsible for her husband and 2 sons' death because San Francisco protected Ramos from deportation. Now, if you're a logical person, you can see the logic in the lawsuit. I mean, goodness gracious, he wouldn't have been there. He wouldn't have had the chance to blast these guys if he had been turned over to the proper authorities and kicked out of the country. But the courts, the liberal courts, San Francisco and California, they threw it out. They threw out her lawsuits. So, you know, I can only imagine just her feeling of just complete distraught of the injustice of it all, right? Here they are, a good family, by all accounts, right? Hardworking homeowners, raised 4 kids. And all of a sudden, this guy, gang member, illegal, who shouldn't be here in the first place, convicted felon, just tears everything apart in a matter of seconds. And she has absolutely no recourse. None. So Ramos was sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole. He's fighting to have his convictions overturned. I don't know on what grounds, but I just read that he's fighting to have his convictions overturned. He's on a prison pen pal dating website, and he's currently housed in the California Medical Facility in Vacaville. The California Medical Facility in Vacaville is not exactly hard time. It's not. I mean, it's not Pelican Bay. He's not in the shoe. It's not hard time. I mean, it's time, sure, but I mean, come on. This guy has killed multiple people, and he's not even on death row. So anyways, the whole Ramos Bologna family even gets a sadder turn when the mom, Danielle, and her daughter, Francesca, were killed in a car crash in August of 2023. And it's like, I just can't imagine the pain of the one son that is left to carry on the legacy here. And I'm hoping somebody like a Donald Trump reaches out. But the liberal press is burying everything. You'll have to really dig to find this story. They're burying everything, Kamala. And I'm at a loss for words right now of all of this. But we just got to save ourselves from these vicious criminals that, once convicted, should be kicked out of the country. Anyways, that's my Edwin Ramos rant. Like what you see, like what you hear. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and we will see you tomorrow. See ya.